Moscow negotiations between the USSR, UK and France had stalled, because at the same time London hosted secret Anglo-German negotiations. In exchange for the British Empire's integrity, the British greenlit a German march to the east. And despite the absence of a formal agreement, Hitler was given to understand that he was free to act in the east and shouldn't worry about the west. When we speak of new territory in Europe today, we must principally think of Russia. That colossal empire in the east is ripe for dissolution. Adolf Hitler, Mein Kampf.
Hitler makes clear in Mein Kampf in 1925 that the real goal is to take over Ukraine and going to the east against the Soviet Union. That was always Hitler's real goal. And the Europeans understood that in some ways.
Poland, too, was preparing to invade the USSR with Hitler. The dismemberment of Russia lies at the heart of the Polish policy in the East. The main goal is to weaken and defeat Russia. From a report by the Polish Army General Staff Intelligence Branch. But Hitler had other plans that didn't involve Poland.
Also, es war vorgesehen eine Neuaufteilung der Welt, geografische Neuaufteilung. Und damit verbunden die Beseitigung der UdSSR. Das war die Lage, in der sie versetzt waren.
Journalist Jan Engelgard is curator at the Museum of Polish History in Warsaw.
Znajdujemy się przed fotografią, która przedstawia wspólną defiladę wojsk radzieckich i niemieckich we wrześniu 1939 roku po pakcie Ribbentrop-Mołotow. To jest ważna fotografia, bo przedstawia ona wydarzenia, które w polskiej pamięci historycznej odgrywa bardzo dużą rolę. Nie ma tutaj miejsca na fałszowanie historii, bo takie fakty istniały.
But there were other facts too, about which the West prefers to keep silent. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was only signed after all leading European powers had made deals with Hitler. 1933. Germany, France, UK and Italy signed the Four-Power Pact. 1934. Poland and Germany sign a non-aggression declaration. 1935. The UK and Germany sign a naval agreement. 1938. The UK, France and Italy agree to the partition of Czechoslovakia between Germany, Poland and Hungary. 1939. Latvia and Estonia sign non-aggression pacts with Germany.
Es war klar, dass ein Angriff von Deutschland drohte. Und wenn die Sowjetunion nicht bestimmte Maßnahmen ergriffen hätte zu diesem Zeitpunkt, dann wäre das einfach fahrlässig gewesen, auch dem eigenen Volk gegenüber, wenn ein aggressiver Gegner an den Grenzen steht und dort ganze Armeen auffährt.
Here's what well-known American author Dean Henderson thinks of past events.
Poland and Hungary invaded Czechoslovakia before Hitler invaded Poland because Poland and Hungary were working already with the Nazis, and France and England basically threw Czechoslovakia under the bus. And they don't really want us to remember that part, you see, but they just abandoned them. And again, if it hadn't been for Stalin coming on the Eastern Front, they would abandon a lot more people in Eastern Europe as well.
However, on September the 19th, 2019, the European Parliament adopted a resolution stating that it was Germany and the USSR that paved the way for World War II.
Warum die EU-Kommission das macht? Ich denke, da sind auch wieder Interessengruppen, gerade aus dem Baltikum und auch aus Polen, die ganz stark dort Lobbyismus betreiben. Aber es sind extreme nationalistische Kräfte.
But But not everyone in the EU agrees with the official line.
Porównywanie Stalina do Hitlera i zrównywanie radzieckiego komunizmu, radzieckiego socjalizmu z niemieckim nazizmem jest to szczególna podłość historyczna z tego typu stwierdzenie i nie powinno być zgody na tego typu działania.
Die Versuche, die Sowjetunion als einen der Verursacher des Zweiten Weltkrieges darzustellen, ist nicht nur aus meiner Sicht, sondern ich denke auch aus historischer Sicht kompletter Unsinn.
United Europe seems keen to erase from history a very unflattering fact, which is that officially, war was declared on the Soviet Union by Nazi Germany, along with Italy, Vichy France, the governments of Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Finland. Unofficially, the war against the USSR involved Norwegians, Danish, and Swiss. As part of the Viking and Nordland SS divisions, the Dutch Nederland SS, Belgian SS Volunteers, the Flanders Legion, the Spanish Blue Division, the Albanian Skanderberg SS, as well as notoriously vicious SS officers from Lithuania, Estonia, and Ukraine. Almost all of Europe, led by Nazi Germany, took part in the slaughter of Soviet nationals, first and foremost Slavic people.
Denn Hitler wurde an die Macht gebracht. Und zwar weil Hitler derjenige war, der die aggressivste Politik versprach, mit der man die Welt neu aufteilen konnte.
The Second Front, so lauded in the West, was formed a mere 11 months before Victory Day, when it became clear that the Red Army could manage on its own.
Throughout most of the war, the Americans and the British were confronting 10 German divisions between us, while the Soviets were confronting more than 200 German divisions by themselves.
An der sowjetischen deutschen Front leisteten die deutschen Truppen aber umso größeren Widerstand. Der sowjetische Regierungschef schrieb deshalb an Roosevelt wieder, und das Ergebnis ist, dass die Deutschen an der Westfront in der betreffenden Minute den Krieg gegen England und Amerika tatsächlich beendeten. Zugleich führten die Deutschen aber den Krieg gegen Russland, den Verbündeten Englands und der USA, weiter. Aber auch vom politischen Gesichtspunkt ist es ein Verrat. Vom moralischen Gesichtspunkt gar nicht zu sprechen.
And in March 1945, Britain and the US enter into secret negotiations with Germany to negotiate the surrender of German forces in northern Italy.
Die Sowjetunion hat das mitbekommen, natürlich, hat Antrag gestellt, teilzunehmen. Es wurde aber abgelehnt. Die Westmächte verletzten damit noch vor Ende des Krieges ihre Verpflichtungen gegenüber der Sowjetunion als Alliierte. Ich bin mit der Sowjetunion sozusagen alliiert und verhandle gleichzeitig mit dem Feind.
In his letter to President Roosevelt, Stalin openly accuses the Allies of negotiating a separate peace with Germany. Already on his deathbed, Roosevelt writes back saying, "You have been misinformed." Stalin responds with, "Our informants are humble and honest people." Churchill's position is more aggressive. He he approaches the US with his plans for Operation Unthinkable, an alliance of Anglo-Saxons and Nazis, and the massive bombing of Soviet cities.
Der Krieg war noch nicht zu Ende. Potsdam noch lange nicht in Sicht. Aber Churchill hat schon den Auftrag erteilt, einen neuen Kriegsplan. Es war schlicht und einfach ein Angriff auf die Sowjetunion geplant. Und man wollte dabei 100.000 gerade besiegte Soldaten der deutschen Wehrmacht. Das zu charakterisieren, dürfte jedem Denkenden eigentlich überlassen bleiben. Es ist einfach unehrlich.
I get up every morning and pray that Stalin is alive and well. Only Stalin can save the world. Winston Churchill. Once the world was saved, Churchill changed his mind. Any attempt by the Soviets to compete against the Anglo-Saxons had to be quashed forever. The USSR has to be eliminated immediately. General George S. Patton, commander of the US Third Army, demands that the troops do not stop at the Elbe, but move on towards Stalingrad. On June 29, 1945, Stalin, who already knows about the operation, orders Marshal Zhukov to move troops to combat positions in the west. It is now clear to the Allies that a surprise attack is no longer possible.
Wenn Churchill bekanntlich die deutschen Kriegsgefangenen sozusagen mobilisiert hat, gegen Deutschland erneut die Waffen sozusagen gegen die Sowjetunion damals zu richten, in Norddeutschland, und er zur Potsdamer Konferenz kommt, Stalin ihn fragt, ja, was ist denn das? Ist da was da? Was macht ihr da? Und Churchill sagt, ja, da bin ich nicht informiert, da muss ich mich informieren. Dieses Doppelspiel eigentlich der Westmächte.
That's enough. We're no longer interested in a union with the Russians, so we don't have to abide by the agreements with them. We need to make the Yalta Accords non-existent. Harry Truman. But the Allies need the Red Army in the Far East, where the 1.5 million strong Kwantung Army is waiting. The US and Britain had a hard time retaking several islands from Japan and would welcome some help.
What the Japanese dreaded the most was the idea that the Soviets might come into the Pacific War. Truman understood this. Stalin assures him that the Russians are coming in on schedule. Truman writes in his diary, says Stalin will be in the Jap War by August 15th. Finny Japs when that occurs.
The invincible Kwantung Army was able to hold out for just 20 days. The Red Army's outstanding Manchurian operation ended in complete victory. Even though there were no military reasons for it, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed.
The bomb was not actually dropped on Japan. It was dropped on the Soviet Union as a warning of what was going to happen to the Soviets if they interfered with America's post-war plan.